What's going on, guys? It's been a little while since I've done a video here, so we're gonna do a recipe today that I've never done before, but I know it's gonna come out good because it's greens pretty much. You know, this year I did a hydroponic garden and I did some broccoli, but I grew broccoli the wrong time of year. You should grow broccoli early in the season because it likes the cool weather. It doesn't like the warm weather, so it won't produce hardly any fruit. It produced a little bit of broccoli, but they say the leaves are even more nutritious than the actual fruit that comes from broccoli. So we're going to do the leaves today, and we're going to cook them just like collard greens, maybe kicked up a little bit more than collard greens. You know, broccoli is loaded with vitamin A, C, K, calcium, folate, and potassium. So it's got a lot of nutrients. And this stuff came straight from my garden. I know what I put on it. I didn't put any kind of chemicals on it. You know, I may have sprayed some peppermint oil on it to keep the bugs from biting it and things like that, but it doesn't have any kind of insecticides on it, so it's going to be nice and healthy and a really good meal. So y'all follow me. Now, when you first look at them, they look like collard greens. You know, they got that big old stem going through the center of them, and they're nice and leafy and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the stems off, and we're only going to use the leafy part of them. All right, these are some of the ingredients we're going to use in here. Of course, you got to have some greens with some bacon in it. This is some of that natural bacon, no nitrites, no nitrates or anything like that. We're going to have some apple cider vinegar, some Lowry seasoning salt. You can actually use just salt and pepper and garlic. We're going to have an onion in there. Got some tomatoes back there. And we got some chicken stock here. Now what I'm doing here to make the bacon cook a little bit faster is I've added a little bit of coconut oil in there, and then we're going to add the bacon in there once it warms up. Alrighty, I've got the stems off the leaves, and again, it's real easy to take these off. You just pretty much grab it by the base here and just take your hand and make like a little circle and just pull it through, and it comes off. I mean, you don't get every little bit and piece off of it, but this is what we're going to end up with. And if this is like greens, even though that looks like a lot, it's actually going to cook down to a very small portion. Okay, now we're going to add our bacon to it. Again, you can I've noticed that this natural bacon doesn't produce a whole lot of grease like some of your regular bacon that has the preservative in it. And I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, but I've noticed that it doesn't produce a lot of oil. So we're just going to take a slice of bacon, and you're just using the bacon for flavor, guys. Just the flavor here, because it's going to have a little bit of coconut oil flavor as well. You can put as many pieces in there as you want to. I'm going to do 3. And we're just going to cook these until they're crispy. All right, our bacon is almost got to the point where it's nice and crispy. In the meantime, we've come over here and we chopped our onions and we chopped our tomatoes, and we've got about a heaping tablespoonful of garlic. Alrighty, we've taken the bacon out. We don't want it burnt. We just want it, and it looks like it's burnt, but it's not, guys. This camera doesn't do it any justice. We just want it crispy. Leave all the oil in there, just like that. That's the goodness right there. And I could eat just the bacon right now because I'm kind of hungry. So we're gonna add our onions to it, and we're just gonna saute those until they're nice and glistening. Don't pour any of that succulent oil out. It's coconut oil and it's bacon grease. All right, gonna let that cook till it's glistening. And in the meantime, we're going to take our bacon here, and all you need to do is just kind of fold it. Fold it. I'm trying to do this one-handed here, guys and gals. And just mash it down. Now, if you have a masher, you can do it with a masher as well, because you're going to add this crunched up bacon right back to the greens. So to give it a little bit of flavor and a little bit of crunchy bits in it. And you'll see what you have when you get through. See that? all nice and crunchy and good. So again, we're going to add the bacon right back to it. It's nice and crunchy. We could have crunched it up in here, but I've done it both ways here. Add it right back in there. And again, keep on cooking those onions till they're nice and glistening. Almost translucent, which means you can kind of see through them. You really can't see through them, but that's one of those terms that I've heard a lot of cooks say, but I ain't never been able to see through no onion. Now, once your onions get to this level here, we're going to add our tomatoes and our garlic. And then we're going to let that cook down here till it really makes its own liquid. So you may not even have to add the chicken stock if you don't have to. I only did this so just in case I didn't have enough liquid. But I think we may have enough liquid just by using these tomatoes and these onions and garlic. Alrighty, it's been about 5-6 minutes and got all the juices in there now. We can add we're going to add our vinegar and we're going to add our spices. I usually just eyeball this, guys. I'm going to put about a tablespoonful. You can also add some honey at this point too if you want it to be a little bit more on the sweeter side. You know, we're trying to stay away from sugars, but you can add some honey to it as well. Again, we're going to put a few sprinkles of Lowry's in it. You don't want it too salty. And then we're just going to add our greens to it. And again, it looks like a lot, but these greens, if they're like collard greens, they will cook down. See, right now it's filling up that pot. They will cook down. Put your lid on. And give that about 5 to 10 minutes and just come back and check on it and stir it up. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes. And see how it kind of shrunk? Just kind of what you want. Just kind of stir it around. And we're going to chop this once we get it nice and done. But see, it didn't end up being a whole lot of anything for the most part. Alrighty, that's been about 10 minutes here. And they should be about done here. They're nice and dark green the way I like them. I'm going to chop these things up and then we'll see what they taste like. And all I did was just put them in a separate pot. I didn't want to chop them up in this pan right here, this pot right here, because it's supposed to be, you can't damage it, but I don't trust those commercials, so I didn't want to use metal in it, so I just used my little mixing bowl right here and I chopped them up. So now they're ready to eat, guys, and we're going to see what broccoli leaves taste like. All right, the true test of making any meal is the taste test. So we're going to see what this tastes like. It's pretty darn good. It doesn't taste like collard green. It kind of puts you in the mind of kale. That is very good. It's not bitter. It's tender. I've got the onions in there and I got the tomatoes in there. It's almost got a sweetness in it because of the onions that are in there. And like I said, you can add use some honey to it and it'll come out good. So guys, if you're growing hydroponically or if you're growing in a garden and you've got a bunch of leaves left over from your broccoli or your cauliflower, you can do the same thing to cauliflower. If you got a whole bunch of stuff left over, just think you can eat the whole plant, not just the head, you know, that looks, you know, my heads on my broccoli weren't that good. So you can eat the whole thing and it comes out good and it's nutritious. Thanks for watching, y'all.